Meet Pamela, a stunning beauty with striking blue eyes and a mane of long, luscious afro hair. She was tall, with curves that could make a mountain jealous and a smile that could light up the darkest of days. Every man in her town adored her, and they all had a habit of suddenly needing to walk past her house for no particular reason. Pamela was head over heels for Ruben, her childhood friend. Their love story began way before Pamela packed her bags and headed to the city to study medicine. "Ruben," she said one day as they sat under their favorite tree, "you'll wait for me, right?" "Wait for you?" "Pamela, I'll probably age like fine wine, sitting here under this tree waiting." Ruben chuckled, but the love in his eyes was as clear as the noon sky. "Well, keep that wine ready," Pamela teased, "because I'll need a drink after all those medical books." In the city, Pamela and Ruben stayed connected, their phones buzzing with sweet nothings and the occasional silly joke. "Guess what, Pamela?" Ruben said one evening over the phone. "I walked past your house today, and even the trees looked a bit sad." "Oh, come on, Ruben." Pamela laughed. "Maybe they just missed me as much as you do." And so their love continued to flourish, even with the miles between them. One day, Ruben received an email that made him leap out of his chair. The scholarship he had applied for to study computer science engineering in Canada was approved. Elated, he grabbed his phone to share the exciting news with Pamela. "Pam, guess what?" Ruben said, his voice brimming with excitement. "I got the scholarship. Canada, here I come." But Pamela's reaction was less enthusiastic. "So, will you still visit me in the city before you go miles away?" she asked, her voice tinged with worry. "Pam, I don't think our meeting will happen as planned. I need to prepare for the trip," Ruben replied, still thrilled. "But we'll catch up at the airport before my flight. It'll be like a mini send-off." Pamela sighed. "A 2-day visit before you leave wouldn't hurt, Ruben." "My dear Pam," Ruben said gently, "I'd love to, but this scholarship came with short notice, and there's so much to sort out. I promise to come to the city early on my travel day, and we'll have a bit of time together." Pamela reluctantly agreed, though the idea of a brief airport meeting didn't sit well with her. The day of Ruben's flight arrived, and things went south fast. Stuck in terrible traffic, he reached the airport just minutes before his departure. Pamela, who had been waiting, hugged him tightly when he finally appeared, her eyes reflecting the mix of emotions they both felt. "I missed you so much," Pamela whispered as they embraced. "I missed you too," Ruben replied, his arms wrapped around her like he never wanted to let go. The hug quickly turned into a deep kiss, drawing the attention of a nearby stranger. "Whoa, should I get you lovebirds a room?" the stranger quipped, breaking the moment. They laughed awkwardly and decided to grab a quick coffee. As they sipped, Ruben admired her. "Pam, you look even more beautiful, though you've lost a bit of weight." Pamela rolled her eyes playfully. "Do you expect me to gain weight when my lecturers are trying to kill us with endless assignments?" "And look at you. That leftover beard suits you," she teased, tugging gently at his beard. Before long, the announcement for Ruben's flight echoed through the airport. The moment had come too soon. They hugged once more, tears welling up in their eyes. "Text me when you land," Pamela said softly. "Sure. We'll video call every day," Ruben assured her, his voice steady despite the emotion. With heavy hearts and misty eyes, they went their separate ways, the distance looming but their love resilient. After Ruben left for Canada, he and Pamela stayed connected through video calls and texts. For the first 2 months, their routine of morning and evening calls held strong. But as the third month rolled in, things took a weird turn. Pamela, in her final year of med school, was drowning in projects. Their once regular calls were increasingly replaced by hectic schedules. Mornings were for rushing to class, and evenings were consumed by assignments and exhaustion. Ruben's messages often went unanswered, and the time difference didn't help. Upon completing med school, Pamela landed a job at one of the most reputable hospitals in the city. The shifts were insane, but the paycheck made it worthwhile. She never complained, even when the hours got tough. Even though Pamela's work schedules were tight, she tried calling and texting Ruben, but he hardly replied. This worried Pamela, making her feel their relationship was falling apart. Whenever she complained to Ruben, he reassured her that things would get back to normal during his vacation. But even then, Ruben was often held back by work. One day, When Pamela voiced her concerns again, Reuben snapped, "You're being selfish. When you were swamped with your school projects, I understood and gave you space." Pamela's voice rose with frustration. "So now you want me to give you space? Fine. If space is what you want, space you will get." She angrily hung up, leaving Reuben equally upset. Both of them never checked up each for a whole week. Dear viewers, is Pamela really being selfish? Comment your thoughts below. Now, the story continues. One evening, Pamela covered a shift for a colleague dealing with an emergency. In her haste to deliver surgical materials for an urgent operation, she bumped into someone in the corridor. "Oops, sorry," she exclaimed, turning to apologize. Her eyes widened in surprise. "Collins? What are you doing here? Do you work here? Wait, are you stalking me?" Collins smirked. "Which of those questions do you want me to answer first?" Pamela rolled her eyes, glancing at her watch. "You know what? I'm in a rush. We'll talk next time." Without waiting for a reply, she sped off down the hall. Collins was an old schoolmate, one of those boys who wouldn't let her rest with their constant, "I love you" stories. But back then, Pamela's heart belonged to Reuben, and no one else even registered on her radar. The next evening, Pamela returned home exhausted from work, still troubled about Reuben. Deciding to make amends, she called him to apologize for overreacting during their last conversation. To her shock, a woman answered. "Who is this?" Pamela asked, her voice rising in panic. "I am." "You know what? It's pointless talking to you." Pamela cut her off and hung up. She tried to sleep, but tears streamed down her face. "Reuben is cheating on me," she whispered to herself. "Just a small misunderstanding. And he dared to cheat?" The next morning, Pamela woke up with swollen eyes from crying all night. She put on eyeglasses to hide the evidence and headed to work. When she removed the glasses, her colleagues inquired about her red, puffy eyes. "Something fell in my eye," she lied. At that moment, Evelyn, a colleague, nurse, and friend, dragged her away from the others and demanded, "You and I both know that nothing fell into your eyes. Now spill it." "I don't want to talk about it, Evelyn, not now," Pamela answered. Looking at her friend with compassion, Evelyn said, "I'll be here to talk when you're ready." "Thank you," Pamela said appreciatively. During her shift, Collins came to Pamela's boss's office. As he was leaving, he asked if he could speak with her. "I can't. I'm busy," Pamela snapped, but her boss intervened. "Pamela, you're permitted to go talk to Mr. Wayne." At the mention of Mr. Wayne, Pamela froze. She stared at Collins, ready to ask why he was being called that. But instead, she followed him out in silence. He led her to a cafeteria nearby. Once seated, Collins broke the silence. "Will you tell me why your pretty eyes are all swollen? Did you bring me here to interrogate me?" Pamela shot back, avoiding his question. "All right, young lady," Collins said with a grin. "I brought you here to talk." "Talk about what? Oh, you want to brag about owning the hospital, disrupting my work for some stupid talk? And then you'll say you love me, only to cheat behind my back? You men are all the same. Cheats." Pamela's voice rose. Her words mingled with tears. Collins, bewildered, held up his hands. "Whoa, relax," Pamela continued, her sobs uncontrollable. "You're all cheats." Realizing she was heartbroken, Collins gently wrapped his arms around her, whispering, "It's okay. Everything will be fine." After she calmed down, Pamela asked to return to work, but Collins refused, insisting she needed rest. He called her boss and arranged a week off for her. Pamela protested, "I have patients to attend to." "Relax, it's all sorted," Collins replied. "You're my patient now," he added with a smirk. "I'm not sick," Pamela snapped. Collins drove her home, picked up some food, and returned to find Pamela inviting him in. He watched her eat, gave her some pills, and soon she fell asleep. Pamela woke at midnight to see Collins still on the couch, watching a movie. "Hey, you're awake? For a second, I thought you'd never wake up," he said. "What are you still doing here at this time?" she asked, clearly annoyed. "Just waiting to see you're okay," he said. "Well, I'm awake, and as you can see, I'm fine." "So?" she said, growing more irritated. "So, I'll leave. Yeah, I'll leave, Collins mumbled, preparing to go. Just stay. You can sleep on the couch and leave early tomorrow, she said reluctantly, fetching a blanket for him. Thank you, he replied softly. The next morning, Pamela awoke to the sound of singing and the smell of food. She found Collins in the kitchen, dancing as he cooked. She tried to get angry at his audacity to use her kitchen, but his cheerful approach disarmed her. "Oh, you're awake," he greeted her with a bright smile. "Did you sleep well?" "Yeah, I did. Your pills worked wonders." "I feel great, thank you," she admitted. "Did you say something?" Collins teased, cupping his ear. "I said thank you," Pamela repeated. "Ah, that's more like it," he grinned. "You know, you almost lost yourself yesterday. The man you were crying over is probably having fun, while you're here mourning as if someone died. I wasn't crying for him. I was crying for myself, for being stupid enough to fall in love with him," Pamela said bitterly. "I'll never fall for love again, never." "You never know," Collins whispered with a knowing smile. In the days leading up to Pamela's return to work, Collins made every effort to lift her spirits and bring back her smile. He took her to the cinema, a fun fair, and even invited her to his place for a delightful dinner he had prepared himself. Pamela was astonished to discover that Collins could cook, having always assumed he was a spoiled brat. "You can cook?" Pamela asked, wide-eyed. "Of course, I can probably cook better than you. Cooking is one of my favorite things to do," Collins replied with a grin. As they ate in comfortable silence, Pamela's phone rang. She muted it, but when it rang again, she turned it off. Collins noticed and asked why she wasn't answering. "It's Ruben," she explained. "I'm trying so hard to move on and forget the pain he's caused me, but he keeps making it difficult." Collins suggested, "Why don't you blacklist him and block him on all your social media?" Pamela became moody again. Just then, Collins suddenly exclaimed, "Ouch! I bit my tongue." Pamela moved closer to console him, only for him to burst into laughter. "It was just to snap you out of your sad mood," he admitted, laughing. Pamela chuckled. "You got me there. But seriously, this food is delicious. You'd never guess it was made by a guy." "Thanks," Collins smiled. "Back in school, everyone thought I was a jerk. And I guess you did too, considering the company I kept. We were always causing trouble, so much so that some people thought we were into something shady." Pamela nodded. "I'll admit, I thought you guys were a bit sketchy at times, but these past few days have made me see you differently." Collins shrugged. "I hung out with them for fun because home was boring. My parents were always away, leaving me with the nanny, who taught me how to cook. My real parents were too busy with their endless business trips and, when home, constantly arguing about who cheated more. Honestly, they'd be better off divorced." Pamela sighed. "So the Wayne family that everyone admires isn't perfect after all." "It's all a facade," Collins admitted. "My family is a mess. My dad even forced me to study medicine. I'll always resent him for not letting me pursue my dream of becoming a chartered accountant." Pamela looked surprised. "You never wanted to be a doctor?" "No," Collins said, sadness clouding his face. He insisted, saying I had to become a doctor to take over the hospital. I tried to reason with him that I could be an accountant, open my own firm, and still manage the hospital's accounts, but he wouldn't listen. It's like he hates me. Every little argument ends with him threatening to disown me. I'm so fed up with him and hate myself even more for letting him control me." Tears welled up in Collins's eyes. Pamela reached out, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. As she stroked his shoulder, they found themselves leaning into each other. They kissed, and soon, one thing led to another, and they made love on the couch. The next morning, Pamela woke up in Collins' bed, a tray of breakfast greeting her like a culinary ambassador. She blinked, confused, because this wasn't just any bed, it was Collins' bed. Memories of their spontaneous couch escapade flashed back, making her cheeks flush. Collins grinned as she stirred. "Rise and shine, sleepyhead," Collins cooed, leaning in for a morning kiss. Pamela, still processing the couch incident, recoiled slightly. "How did I end up here? I thought we were on the couch," she murmured, eyes narrowing. Collins smirked like a cat who'd caught the canary. "Yesterday was amazing, So I figured my queen deserved a royal treat, he said with a wink. Look, what happened yesterday was a mistake, okay? We didn't mean for it to happen, Pamela stated, her tone shifting to serious. Collins, ever the optimist, shrugged. Unplanned. Sure, but I enjoyed it. Didn't you? Pamela was about to retort when Collins interrupted. Look, I'll give you space and time to think about it. Pam, I love you and can't wait to make you all mine. Pamela flinched at Pam, her mind spiraling into flashbacks of Reuben. Don't call me that. My name is Pamela, not Pam, she snapped. Realizing her overreaction, she quickly added, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Collins, master of damage control, patted her arm. It's okay, I understand, he reassured her, gently cuddling her like she was a delicate glass ornament. Pam is what Reuben used to call me, and you calling me that just brought back memories of him, Pamela explained. Despite warming up to Collins, Pamela wasn't quite sure about her feelings for him yet. The next day, she was back at work, her usual chirpy self. Nicholas, her colleague, noted, You sure needed that break. It had worked magic. You're back to your cheerful self. Margaret, the office gossip, piped up. Why did Mr. Wayne Jr. call you out last week? Something seemed fishy. Mr. Wayne is just a former schoolmate. We were catching up, that's all, Pamela explained. But Margaret's curiosity wasn't easily quelled. You went to the same school as Mr. Wayne Jr.? Were you that rich? Or were you on a scholarship? Scholarship? Pamela replied. That's much better, Margaret said. What's with all these questions? Why are you questioning Pamela like she owes you an explanation for anything? Evelyn, Pamela's friend, cut in sharply. Margaret was about to reply when the senior doctor walked in, silencing the room. During lunch break, Evelyn asked Pamela, Hey, Pam, are you ready to talk now? I mean, my patience is running out. Pamela explained everything to Evelyn from discovering Reuben's cheating to making out with Collins Wayne. Whoa, girl. So you're dating the son of the richest man in this city? Evelyn teased. Our making out was a mistake, okay? I mean, I'm still trying to get over Reuben. I still love him, Pamela admitted. Hey, yeah, that man really messed up. But if you ask me, I'd say you should give our Odogwu a chance. Ooh, Evelyn advised playfully. Well, I didn't ask for your advice, Pamela replied jokingly, and they both laughed. Meanwhile, in the parking lot, Collins leaned casually against his car, waving as Pamela and Evelyn walked toward their bus. The moment Evelyn saw him, she hissed, Here comes your lover boy. Pamela, glancing at Collins, said to Evelyn, Take the lead. I'll text you. What are you doing here? Pamela asked as she approached Collins. Since you don't have a chauffeur, I thought I'd be yours for the day. He grinned. Pamela couldn't help but smile. As they neared her house, Collins revealed, I've got a surprise for you. Pamela's eyes widened at the sight of a wrapped Mercedes-Benz parked outside. Is that the surprise? She squealed, bouncing on her heels. Yes, darling, it's all yours, Collins said, handing her the keys. Wow, I love it. No more company bus for me, she beamed. Exactly. I wouldn't want my fiancé riding a company bus, Collins added, pulling out a ring. Please accept me, and I promise to make you happy for the rest of your life. Pamela's excitement fizzled. Collins, what are you doing? We agreed not to rush things. This is too sudden. I just got out of a 4-year relationship. I can't jump into marriage with someone I barely know. She stepped out of the car, frustration evident. Collins called after her, You forgot your car keys. But Pamela continued storming off, leaving him confused and furious at the same time. Realizing he had overstepped, Collins left the keys at her door and went home, heartbroken. At home, Collins wept dramatically. Pamela hates me now, he sobbed, pacing like a melodramatic actor in a soap opera. He was jealous that Pamela still loved her ex, Reuben, which led him to propose prematurely. Pamela, equally perplexed, felt like Collins was rushing things. She wondered if he was trying to buy her love with his money. The next morning, she found a heartfelt letter tucked under her door. Curious, she read it and, softened by Collins' apology, texted him. Apology accepted. Pamela arrived at work in her new car, causing a stir among her colleagues. While Evelyn and others celebrated with her, Margaret, the office gossip, was jealous. She vowed to dig into Pamela's sudden wealth to find out how she had gotten the new Benz. Pamela and Collins met at a restaurant to celebrate their reunion. Collins vowed never to give Pamela a reason to doubt his love for her, and he kept his promise. The days that followed felt like heaven for Pamela. Collins was so careful that every date after their quarrel made him seem like the perfect gentleman. He would occasionally come to Pamela's house with a team of masseuses to give them both home service massages. Sometimes, he would arrive at her place before she got home and cook dinner for them. One day, Pamela thought to herself, "This Collins is so caring. He's always there for me, as if he knows my love language is quality time. I should consider his proposal." Unknown to Pamela, Collins had paid Evelyn, her friend, to monitor her every move. He also encouraged Evelyn to engage Pamela in conversations to uncover her likes and dislikes about men. Evelyn was receiving thousands of dollars every month to provide information about Pamela's whereabouts, essentially spying on her without her knowledge. During one of their dates, Pamela made Collins pop the question again, and this time, she said yes. Collins was overjoyed and immediately called Evelyn, his monitoring agent, to inform her. Evelyn then suggested ending the whole arrangement since it had already served its purpose. But Collins refused. Instead, he told Evelyn to continue her good work and promised to increase her pay. Pamela took her fiancé, Collins, to visit her mother in the village. When they arrived, Pamela's mother, Mama Chica, was shocked to see her daughter bringing another man home as her fiancé, but she remained calm. She asked Collins, "Young man, what is your name, and where are you from?" After Collins mentioned his name, Mama Chica shifted in her chair. "Are you the son of William Wayne?" "Yes, Ma," Collins answered, wondering how she knew his father. Mama Chica's expression changed. "I hope this is not what I'm thinking. Do you have a picture of him on your phone?" "Yes, Ma," Collins responded. "Show it to me." As soon as Mama Chica saw the picture, she screamed, "Hey, woo! My enemies have gotten me, ooh!" Then she turned to Collins. "Young man, can you excuse me? I need to talk to my daughter alone." "Mama, I hope everything is okay?" Collins asked. Without waiting for an answer, he got up and left the room, leaving Pamela alone with her mother. Mama Chica immediately turned to Pamela. "Pamela, you cannot marry that man," she exclaimed. "Mom, what do you mean I cannot marry Collins?" "Is there a problem?" Pamela asked. "Yes, there is a problem, ooh. Have you slept with him?" Mama Chica asked, obviously scared of the answer her daughter was about to give. "Of course, Mom, we are engaged." "Hey, woo, this girl has killed me. Is engagement marriage? Do you have to sleep with a man just because you're engaged? How can you even get engaged to a man without your family's consent? And now you come here telling me that because you're engaged, you had to have sex? Wait, I hope you're not pregnant for him?" "No, Mom. What's with all these questions? Can you please tell me what exactly the problem is?" Pamela demanded. But Mama Chica couldn't bring herself to tell her daughter the real reason she couldn't marry Collins. Pamela and Collins drove home in total silence. After Collins got home, he couldn't sleep. His desire and desperation to marry Pamela were eating him up. He called his monitoring agent, Evelyn, to question Pamela on what she and Mama Chica spoke about when Mama Chica asked Collins to excuse them. Evelyn insisted she was done running such monitoring errands for him. "Besides," Evelyn said, "I don't feel good spying on my friend and questioning her just to come and inform your insecure and desperate self. I think you should give Pamela time and a chance to come around herself instead of manipulating your way back into her life. Don't tell me what to do. I am Collins Wayne. You dare not talk to me like that," Collins said, obviously angry. "I get whatever I want, whenever I want, and however I want. Don't think because I'm getting help from you, you can talk to me anyhow you like," Collins added furiously. With a rather calm voice, Collins threatened Evelyn. "Now, you do what I'm asking you to do, or you lose your job at the hospital, and I will make sure your nursing license is jeopardized." "You can't fire me, you didn't employ me," Evelyn said, her voice shaking. "You don't run my errand for me, and watch me not only fire you, but destroy the career you've built over the years. Collins said, and hung up on Evelyn. That evening, Mr. Williams Wayne paid Pamela a visit. Pamela was shocked to see him at her doorstep. It was her first time seeing Mr. Williams Wayne in person, and she wondered what brought him to her home. "Mr. Wayne," Pamela exclaimed. "To what do I owe this August visit?" she added. "That's rather rude, Ito. Let a visitor stand while you question him. That's a minus for a girl who wants to marry my son and be part of the Wayne family," Mr. Wayne said as he ushered himself into the house. Pamela was taken aback by his words. Inside the house, Mr. Williams Wayne spoke. "I have come to let you know that a low-class girl like you can never marry my son and never be a part of the Wayne family, so quit whatever you have with my son because it will not lead anywhere." Pamela, looking at him all shocked, managed to speak. "Mr. Williams, I don't understand." "What don't you understand, you gold-digging thing?" Mr. Wayne said sternly, cutting Pamela's words short. "With all due respect, sir, I won't allow you to come to my house and insult me," Pamela said, a frown on her face. "This chicken nest is what you call a house? I just came to warn you to stay far away from my son," Mr. Wayne said mockingly. "With all due respect, sir, I worked really hard for this house, and I will not have you come to my home and insult me. Please leave. You are no longer welcome here. And please go tell your son to leave me the hell alone," Pamela said angrily, pouring out the frustration she carried from her visit to her mom on Mr. Wayne. Mr. Wayne, marveling at Pamela's boldness and fearlessness, was amazed that an ordinary low-class lady could speak to him in that manner, considering how people feared and respected him. Mr. Wayne, still in shock, managed to keep his voice steady. "You're not just poor. You're rude too. Leave," Pamela shouted furiously. Mr. Wayne shook his head and left. The next day, Pamela didn't go to work, so Evelyn paid her a visit. Pamela, looking drained from everything happening in her life, narrated how Mr. Wayne visited and insulted her. "But how did he find out?" Evelyn asked. "I don't know. I bet the gossips at the hospital informed him," Pamela said, looking sad. "Oh yes, it's Margaret. Remember the day she and I argued? She confronted me, saying you and I should watch our backs. She said she was going to find and expose my gold-digging friend. I think she did that to get back at me. But what are you going to do now? Did you talk to Collins about it?" I don't think Collins and I will ever work," Pamela said with a sad face. "Why do you say that? Is it because of what Mr. Wayne said, or because your mom did not approve of him?" Evelyn asked. "How did you know my mom did not approve of Collins and my relationship?" Pamela said, wearing a surprised look on her face. "Oh, Collins called me to complain about it," Evelyn replied. "Wait, I didn't know Collins had your number," Pamela said, still surprised. "Oh yes, he does. He calls me as and when need be." "He calls you as and when what need be?" "Evelyn, why are you communicating with my boyfriend as and when need be?" Evelyn, realizing she was about to be caught, tried to cover up. "Oh, it's nothing to worry your beautiful head about," she said, her voice shaking. "No, I decide what I will worry about and what not to. You don't get to decide that for me," Pamela said, almost shouting. It's nothing serious, really. It's just what? Don't try to lie to me. I want the truth now," Pamela said, her voice rising. "Pamela, I'm sorry. It was not my intention to hurt you. Collins asked me to find out your likes and dislikes about men. Initially, I thought he needed it just to become a better version of your ideal partner. Little did I know he was a manipulator. After he proposed to you the second time and you accepted, I thought the deal was over. But he offered to pay me more, and when I refused, he threatened to make me jobless if I stopped providing him information about you. I am sorry, Pamela. Evelyn, you did all this? How on earth could you betray me like this? And I thought we were friends," Pamela said, almost in tears. "I am sorry," Evelyn repeated. "Leave my house," Pamela said sadly. "I am sorry, Pamela. It was not my intention to hurt you," Evelyn apologized again. "Leave my house," Pamela said, now shouting. A while after Evelyn left, Pamela slouched into her couch, weeping. Today was such a bad day. Bad things were happening one after the other. She wept mainly because her best friend, whom she had trusted for so long, turned out to be a spygist, gathering information to report to Collins. The one person she confided in all the time turned out to be a scam. A week later, Pamela, who had taken some days off work to reflect on her life, was getting ready to resume work when she heard her doorbell ring. She was surprised to find her mom there and looked at her, stunned. "Mama, what are you doing here this early morning?" But her mother responded with a question instead. "Are you going to let me in, or will you keep me standing outside?" "I've come to find the daughter who is going astray, sleeping with just anyone she meets before introducing them to her mother. That young man, you must break up with him because he is—" Before Mama Chica could continue, there was a knock at the door. Surprised to find Mr. Wayne at her door again in the early hours of the day, she asked, "Mr. Wayne, what are you back here for?" Mama Chica, hearing the name Mr. Wayne, came out. "Williams?" she called to Mr. Wayne's first name questionably. "Helen?" Mr. Wayne also called back the name Mama Chica has buried for ages. Pamela just stood there, staring at them, with a lot of questions running through her mind. As they all sat inside, the tension was thick. Pamela, still stunned, looked from one face to the other, and finally broke the silence. "Do you two mind explaining to me how you know each other?" Mama Chica took a deep breath, her eyes fixed on Mr. Wayne before slowly turning to her daughter. "Pamela, it's time you knew the truth," she began. "Years ago, I was not known as Mama Chica. My name was Helen Wayne. Yes, I was legally married to this very man sitting in front of you, Williams Wayne." Pamela gasped, her eyes widening. "I was young, in love, and thought I had found a partner for life. But shortly after our marriage, I started noticing things. Lipstick stains on his shirts, condoms in his pockets, and he'd come home reeking of perfume that wasn't mine. I tried to speak up, to save our marriage. But he never cared. He would wave me off like I was nagging." Mr. Wayne shifted uncomfortably, but said nothing. Mama Chica's voice trembled slightly as she continued. "One day, I decided to surprise him at his office. Pamela, what I saw there broke me. Was making out with his secretary. And as if that wasn't enough, a few days later, he brought that same woman home and told me he was going to marry her as a second wife because she was pregnant with a male child." Pamela's hand flew to her mouth. "That was the final straw for me. I couldn't take it anymore. I packed what little I could, took you in my arms, you were barely 2 years old, and left that house without looking back. I started over in a new state, changed my name, and raised you alone. Everything I did to protect you from a man who never respected the woman he married or the family he had." Pamela sat frozen, her heart pounding as the truth unraveled before her eyes. Mr. Wayne finally spoke. "Helen, But Mama Chica cut him off. "Don't. You lost the right to speak into my life the day you chose betrayal over loyalty. And now your 2 children are doing the abominable. They're in love with each other. Chai Collins, you see what your infidelity has finally brought upon us." Pamela looked at her mother, then at Mr. Wayne, trying to process the whirlwind of revelations now crashing through her world. "So Collins, my fiancé, is my half-brother? Oh my God. So this man who came to insult me in my own house is my father?" Mr. Wayne cut her short. "I am sorry to you both. I came here today because I couldn't sleep. I've been thinking about you, Pamela. I know this confidence. The confidence with which you spoke to me yesterday was familiar, family in a way. Helen, I am sorry, okay? After some years, I came back to my senses. I searched for you everywhere. You left me without a trace. Just a few days ago, I found out that Collins, the child of my secretary, is not mine. She framed her lover's pregnancy on me, and I've trained someone else's child for all these years, neglecting my own child, all because of my promiscuous ways. I am sorry, Helen. I have never stopped loving you. Oh, how beautifully our daughter has grown." But Mama Chica cut him short. "Oh, so now that your beloved male child is no longer yours, you suddenly care about your daughter? Chai Collins, you disgust me. Get out of this house now before I pour hot water on you. Get out." She shouted at Mr. Wayne, who had no choice but to leave. Pamela, still processing what had happened, asked her mother, "Mama, why didn't you tell me my father was alive? Why did you lie and say he was dead?" Mama Chica stood there as if she was only now realizing her mistake. I could not bring myself to narrate to you all the suffering he put us through. As far as I was concerned, he was dead to me. All I'm grateful for is that Collins is not your brother. I couldn't bear the thought of you sleeping with your brother. Chai, incest, over my dead body? Pamela, just forget about him. I am your only parent. I hope you are not considering going back to him. Pamela just stood there, overwhelmed. Is that what you'll say, Mama? All these years I thought my father was dead. You could have just told me the truth about him, Pamela said and walked into her room. For 2 days, Pamela locked herself in her room. She didn't eat, nor did she respond to her mom's soft calls. But on the 3rd day, she decided to go out and take some fresh air, only to find a letter at the doorpost. She read it and showed it to Mama Chica. Dear Helen, my wife, and my beautiful daughter Pamela, I am happy and deeply grateful to have spoken to you both. For years, I believed I would die, without ever setting eyes on you again. I want to sincerely apologize for the years I wasted living a reckless and promiscuous life, not cherishing my family, me wife. My child was the greatest mistake of my existence, and it haunts me every single day. I've been diagnosed with lung cancer and have only a few months left to live. I beg you both, from the depth of my soul, to allow me to spend whatever time I have left with you. Please, I just want to create some beautiful memories together before I finally leave this world. With love, your husband and father. After they read the letter, all the hatred and pain both mother and daughter had for Mr. Wayne were replaced with empathy. Oh my God, I can't believe I missed all these things while chasing vanity, Mr. Wayne said, tears running down his face. He began coughing blood. Mama Chica and Pamela sent him to his room to rest. Yes, viewers, I know you might be wondering where Collins and his mother were. Mr. Wayne scared Collins' mother into packing out of his house with her bastard child, or face a paternity fraud lawsuit. Collins' mother, knowing the power Mr. Wayne's influence carried, didn't even argue. She simply begged for forgiveness and left the Wayne mansion with her son, Collins. The days that followed were full of mixed emotions for Pamela. Mr. Wayne, now her father, transferred everything he owned to Pamela. The hospital where she once worked as a nurse was now hers. The real estate companies and the mansion they now lived in were also hers. Everything happened so fast. She who once struggled to pay her fees and had to settle for scholarships was now owning the very hospital she worked in as a nurse. Sometimes, she couldn't believe she was living such a life of luxury. Evelyn, her best friend, came back to apologize for feeding her former fiancé with the happenings in her life. Pamela forgave her because everyone deserves a second chance. Besides, she told Evelyn, it wasn't entirely your fault. You wanted me to find love and be happy. Even though you went too far, I still forgive you because you were threatened. Collins just wanted to manipulate his way into my life. I thank God that my mother intervened. I couldn't come for your wedding, Pamela said, holding her friend's hand and admiring her ring. It wasn't because I was angry at you. Oh, bestie. You know already. The ups and downs were just overwhelming. But I promise, on your first anniversary, I'll be the one to organize the grandest party for you. But Evelyn rejected the offer. That's not what I want. I want my dear friend here to get off the market soon. Which market? Pamela replied. I beg, nah, here I for die. I've accepted my fate. Marriage is not meant for me. They both laughed. Margaret also came to ask Pamela for forgiveness, for gossiping about her to Mr. Wayne. I didn't know he was your father, she pleaded. But Pamela stood her ground. She ordered the hospital administration to suspend Margaret without pay for 2 months on the basis of workplace misconduct. One day, Pamela closed from work, tired. She got home to see Reuben sitting comfortably in her living room. Do you guys remember Reuben? Yes. Pamela's first love and fiancé who traveled abroad and ended up cheating on Pamela. Now Pamela stood there, tired and angry. Who let this strange being into the house? She asked, boiling with anger. Mama Chica came out. I did. My dear, why are you boiling like this? You be water? I beg, calm down, she said, sitting beside Reuben. This young man here has something to tell you. and as a good mother, I figured you must hear him out. Mama, I don't want to hear anything. You know very well what he did to me, and now you want me to listen to him so he can brainwash me? You listen first and decide. I won't force you. My people, it turns out that the woman Pamela spoke to was Ruben's coursemate. According to Ruben, Angela was her name. She was the only black person in Ruben's departmental faculty. They became friends when they both found out they were Nigerians. They clicked instantly. Besides, the lady is married with kids in Nigeria. She wouldn't have picked the call if you weren't calling so persistently, Ruben said. At the time, we were studying and I stepped out to get us soft drinks. She saw your calls and decided to answer, thinking it was urgent. But you didn't even allow her to speak. You just assumed. And hung up. She's been blaming herself ever since for causing our breakup, he added. Pamela stood there, torn between believing him or thinking it was all a cooked-up story. How will I know this isn't just a made-up excuse? She asked. Oh, Angela asked me to call her if I get here, Ruben said. But Pamela just wasn't having it. Please, just leave. I need some rest. Ruben quietly left, without saying anything. He was happy that Pamela had at least listened. The next day, while Pamela was getting ready for work, a lady called. Hello, I'm Angela. I just wanted to let you know that Ruben loves you. For 4 years, as his coursemate, he never stopped talking about you. He almost had to repeat a course because of the breakup message you sent. He could have failed if not for a lecturer who counseled him. Pamela listened quietly. Thanks for your concern. I have to go now. At work, she couldn't focus. Her mind was full of Ruben, how good-looking he had become, even though he had lost a little weight. Ruben had been her first love, and she had never stopped loving him. The real reason she accepted Colin's proposal was to try and forget about Ruben. But seeing him again made her realize she still loved him. On Saturday, Pamela and Evelyn went out for their usual girls' outing. Pamela narrated the whole Ruben incident to Evelyn. Evelyn advised her to accept Ruben back, quoting her own words. Everybody deserves a second chance. As Pamela drove back home, she wondered why Ruben hadn't called or texted since the day he came to apologize. She wanted to call him and say how much she had missed him, but then it hit her she didn't even have his contact. Pamela got home to see Ruben sitting in her hall, chatting and laughing with her parents. Oh, Pam, you're here. How was your outing? Her father, Mr. Wayne, asked. Not waiting for Pamela to respond, he stood up and walked out of the hall, and Mama Chica followed. Pamela stood there, unsure of what to say. Ruben said, Pam, I'm sorry I made you doubt my love for you, but I want you to know that I have never cheated on you, and I never will. Pamela sat by Ruben, held his hands and said, I believe you, and I forgive you. I love you, Pam. I love you too, she replied. They hugged a long, tight hug. I missed you too much, my love, Ruben whispered. Mr. Wayne and Mama Chica, who were eavesdropping, entered the hall and Mr. Wayne teased, Should I get you 2 lovebirds a room? And everyone started laughing. Ruben stayed for dinner, and the family had a long conversation over the meal. Afterward, Pamela and Ruben had a romantic chat until midnight. Even then, Ruben didn't want to leave, as if they hadn't had enough of each other. Later they went to bed, Pamela sleeping in her room, and Ruben in the guest room. The next day was a Sunday. Pamela and Ruben did not come out for breakfast because they had slept late into the night. But coincidentally, they both came down at noon, just as Mama Chica returned from church and was setting up the table for lunch. Pamela quickly went into the kitchen to help her mother out, since the house helps who always had their day off on Sundays were not there. The family had their meal at the grand dining table. Ruben and Pamela kept exchanging glances, and Mr. Wayne, noticing what was going on, asked sarcastically, Do you 2 lovebirds want us to leave the table for you? You had the whole of yesterday to yourselves, but it seems you 2 still haven't had enough of each other. After lunch, the family was playing a game of truth or dare when Mr. Wayne started coughing. Bring him water, Pamela, Mama Chica demanded. Mr. Wayne took a sip of the water Pamela brought, but the coughing persisted. The family doctor was called, and the diagnosis revealed how quickly the cancer had spread. Mr. Wayne was dying. The family, once cheerful and bubbling with joy, now sat by Mr. Wayne's bed, sad and sorrowful. Mr. Wayne spoke slowly, saying, Death is inevitable. But when mine was approaching very fast, I thought I would die an unhappy man. But you, my lovely wife, and my beautiful daughter, made my last days on earth very memorable and fulfilling. Now I can die knowing that the two most important people in my life are happy with me. Thank you, he said in a whisper. Everyone in the room was now teary. Reuben, my son-in-law, please, take very good care of my two gems. You are now the son I never had. I will, Mr. Wayne, Reuben said tearfully. The doctor interrupted the conversation and asked the family to excuse Mr. Wayne so he could rest. Reuben wanted to go home and get some of his belongings, but Pamela objected. No, love, you can wear Papa's clothes. Reuben objected, saying, It's disrespectful to wear Mr. Wayne's clothes without his consent. But Pamela insisted that her father wouldn't mind. That night, the family slept really late because they kept checking in on Mr. Wayne just to make sure he was okay. Pamela and Reuben woke up to a loud shout from the master bedroom. It was Mama Chica. Pamela, your father is gone, she shouted, crying. Everyone knew this would happen, but they didn't expect it to be so sudden. Sadness hit the Wayne family hard. Months after Mr. Wayne's burial, the family was still mourning his loss. Out of respect for his memory and the somber mood that lingered, Reuben and Pamela chose to forego a grand celebration. Instead, they opted for a simple court wedding, attended by only close relatives and friends. A few weeks after the quiet ceremony, the family made the decision to relocate to the UK for a fresh start. Reuben had secured a prestigious position as a senior manager at one of the top companies in the UK, while Pamela planned to oversee and manage her late father's businesses from abroad. The end. Moral lessons from Pamela and Reuben's love story. 1. True love withstands time and trials. Despite years apart, heartbreak, and misunderstandings, Pamela and Reuben found their way back to each other. Real love doesn't vanish, it waits, grows, and survives even the harshest storms. 2. Never judge without listening. Pamela assumed Reuben cheated without hearing him out, leading to years of pain. Always seek clarity before passing judgment. Misunderstandings can destroy what took years to build. Verse 3. Everyone deserves a second chance. Pamela forgave Evelyn, her friend who betrayed her, and Reuben, who she once thought cheated. Forgiveness heals the forgiver first. Giving second chances often opens doors to new joy. Liebes, Mausen, Obst. 4. Infidelity destroys more than just trust. It breaks generations. Mr. Wayne's unfaithfulness didn't just ruin his marriage, it led to broken family bonds, identity confusion, and emotional trauma for his child. Promiscuity in marriage is not just a personal failure, it plants seeds of pain that grow into generational wounds. 5. Love cannot be bought or forced. Collins tried to win Pamela's love with gifts and manipulation, but she still chose Reuben. Genuine love is earned through character, not possessions or pressure. 6. Betrayal can come from unexpected places. Pamela's trusted friend Evelyn became a spy for Collins. Be cautious about who you trust. Loyalty is proven by actions, not words. 7. Life can turn around at any moment. Pamela went from being heartbroken and betrayed to becoming a business heiress and happily in love. Never write yourself off. Your story can take a powerful turn when you least expect it. So tell me, which lesson hit you the hardest? Comment below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring love stories that touch the heart. Thanks for watching. They visited Mr. Wayne the following day. Mr. Williams Wayne was overjoyed to see them. They spoke all through the day, catching up on Pamela's childhood memories, her likes and dislikes. They laughed at certain silly things Pamela did when she was young.